I think I just watched the best 4K release of 2020. Who knew you had it in you, Arrow Video? Stay tuned for my next 4K review of Tremors. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, and it is time for me to review the 4K edition of Tremors from Arrow Video. I just got this sent to me in the mail over the weekend from Arrow, and I want to thank them for giving me the opportunity to review their product for you guys here today. But yeah, we're going to talk about this movie here in a second. Before we get into it, I want to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber of the Mid-Level Media channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more great content. I do all kinds of stuff on this channel centered around the world of physical media, movies, entertainment. I do live streams, I do weekly Blu-ray hunts, I do a physical media report where I run down all of the latest releases and happenings in the world of physical media. I do reviews like this for you guys today, just tons of content on this channel, and I would definitely love for you to come be a part of it on a regular basis. Also, be sure to like this video, guys. Every single like will help this video out, help it grow, help move up those dreaded YouTube algorithms and allow more eyes on it. Also, be sure to comment down below. Did you pick up this release of Tremors from Arrow Video? Is Tremors one of your favorite creature features from the 90s? Leave all of that in the comments section below. And of course, I will have a link for purchase for this Tremors set in the description below if you guys want to buy it based off of my review. So let's go ahead and get into this movie, guys. This movie is starring Kevin Bacon, starring Fred Ward. It came out in 1990, directed by Ron Underwood. And this tells the story of natives of a small, isolated town defending themselves against strange underground creatures called graboids. And they basically have to defend their town and themselves from being eaten by these underground worm-like creatures. So unless you've been living under a rock this past 30 years, you know what the movie Tremors is. Of course, this is a classic horror comedy from the 90s, came out in 1990, of course, starring the iconic Kevin Bacon, who I love Kevin Bacon. I love the fact that he did all of these horror movies throughout his career. He's still doing horror movies today. He did You Should Have Left last year. The fact that he's remained so closely tied to the horror genre, while at the same time being in those big budget movies like Apollo 13, like X-Men First Class, and just remaining that A-list celebrity that he is, while still being tied to what brought him to the dance. He was in Friday the 13th, the first one, back in 1980. I've always appreciated that about Kevin Bacon, how he doesn't shy away from his horror roots and he always returns to it. And I think he does some of his best work in the genre. And that is no different here. Kevin Bacon is absolutely spectacular in this movie. Him and Fred Ward, which another great comedic actor from that time period in tons of great movies. What I know him from right off the top of my head is from Joe Dirt. He's the dad in Joe Dirt. Some very funny comedic lines in that as well. But yeah, him and Kevin Bacon just have such great chemistry in this movie. And if I was to call out like one huge glaring positive with this movie, it is their relationship together and their interactions together and how they work together during this movie to kind of take these Tremors down. So it's absolutely fantastic. They are without a doubt the highlights of this movie for me. It's also starring Finn Carter, who I haven't really seen in anything else. She's really great in the movie as well. She kind of interjects herself into Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon's storyline, and they all work together, and they all work really well together. Also, I don't know her from anything else, but she's really great in the film as well. We also have Michael Gross, who went on to basically, he's the dad in Family Ties. And he's pretty much the pen that holds this entire franchise together, because he's been in, I think, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's been in every single Tremors sequel since the first one, all the way up into 7, which just got released. So that's actually pretty cool that he still remains within this franchise. And then, of course, his wife in the movie, which I don't think she showed up in any other Tremors movies, and I don't know if they explain what happened to her, but Reba McEntire plays his wife, and I think this is her first movie that she was ever in. The only other movie I can think of off the top of my head that she was in is The Little Rascals. But she's also really fun and really great in this movie, really badass. You know, she gets a scene with a shotgun where she gets to fire at the Tremors. And yeah, this movie, it's super fun. It was marketed as a comedy horror comedy back in 1990, and they talk about this in the special features. I don't really think they knew how to market that, and I don't think they really knew what they had back then because they were selling it as like a horror movie with some comedic elements. I don't think people really understood what this movie was, so not a lot of people went to see it. It kind of gained its cult following after it came out on VHS video, but it's really fun. I would say that it's more comedy than horror, but the horror is definitely there. There are definitely some very scary, very tense scenes involving the Tremors and how they take down some of these people. And I mean, they kill people, they eat people, they rip people in half, they cut people's heads off. Like there's some deaths, there's some gruesome deaths in this movie. There's a good amount of gore in it as well from the humans and the Tremors. Good amount of horror in this movie. I would say it leans more into the comedy and the more adventurous aspects of the genre than it does the horror and the scary moments. Just a very fun movie, and like I said, everybody in this movie just has great chemistry together. I love how this is just the story of, and I think there's only like 14 people that live in this town, at least that's what the sign says. I don't know if that's absolutely accurate, but I just love how this town just like all comes together and just works together. Like the last 45 minutes of this movie is just everybody in the town just together. They're all working together. They're all trying to figure out how to take these Tremors down. And it's just a really cool story of just kind of like a community just banding together to take down these monsters. The Tremors themselves are just have a really cool design. They're super intimidating, super menacing. It kind of takes the Jaws approach where it doesn't really show them for like the first hour of this film. You're seeing little tentacles come out here and there. You're seeing shots of them as they go through walls, but you're not seeing like the full scope of the Tremor until we get to about the last 30 minutes of this movie. And then there's just tons of like awesome Tremor action. They're getting blowed up and freaking blood and orange goo is flying everywhere. And yeah, absolutely awesome. So yeah, guys, as a movie, this is a movie that I've always loved since I was a kid. Like I remember watching this as a kid and enjoying it. Just a fun kind of family adventure, horror, comedy, just everything rolled into one monster, creature, feature, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it's not a masterpiece. There is some cheesy aspects to it. It does feel just a little bit dated, but it was made in 1990, so you come to expect that. I give this movie a 4 out of 5. I just think it's one of the best creature features ever made, one of the best monster movies ever made, and I absolutely love it. So 4 out of 5 for the movie. So let's go ahead and get into the unboxing portion of this video. All right, everybody, and welcome to the unboxing portion of this video. Right here, guys, you can see this is just a spectacular release and box set by Arrow Video. You got this nice thick case. I just love how they do their box sets with between this, Waterworld, American Werewolf in London. I love how thick and sturdy these box sets feel. So right here you have this incredible Tremors artwork. Right here the Tremors font is actually embossed a little bit, so you can tell the difference between that texture and the actual artwork of the cover right there. Right here we have the spine with Tremors on it, and then the reverse right there as well. I just love the use of colors with this cover right here. I just love the artwork. It's just freaking awesome. Let's go ahead and take this out of the case because there's a lot of stuff to get into with this release right here. And we'll go for the standard case first, the regular packaging right there. You got the 4K Ultra HD at the top. You have the same artwork from the box slipcover. Right here you have the same spine. And on the back, you've got all the special features right there, guys. You got the synopsis up here at the top. You got a pull quote, the monster movie that breaks new ground, no pun intended. All right, so now I got everything into focus so you can read the synopsis. You can read the special features if you want to pause it. Right there, it's broke up into 2 separate discs, and you have the casting list and specs down below. Let's go ahead and open up this case, guys, and we'll get to this stuff here in a second. Right here, love that this has disc artwork. Freaking awesome. I wish it had some artwork on the inside there instead of the blackness, but you usually get that a lot with these 4K releases. Let's go ahead and flip it. We've got another disc. Now, this is just the bonus disc. The interesting thing about this is most 4Ks will come with a Blu-ray, but not, I don't think that Arrow Video does that. So this is strictly 4K discs right here. So you have the actual feature and the special features on this 4K disc, and then you have some additional bonus features on this disc. And this is a Blu-ray disc, and the other one is the 4K disc. So that is one important thing to note, that it does have this Blu-ray disc, but the actual feature of the movie is not on this disc. So you got to buy that separately if you want the Blu-ray. All right, and of course with Arrow, same with Scream Factory, we have some awesome reversible cover art, guys. And again, I'm going to ask you, with these releases, do you reverse the cover art or do you leave it as is? Me personally, I reverse it if it has a slip cover. If it does not, then I leave it with the original artwork. So I will leave it right here. But yeah, this is the iconic Tremors poster back when this came out. You zoom in right there, you can see Kevin Bacon, you can see Fred Ward. So yeah, very cool. They say there's nothing new under the sun but under the ground. Awesome, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get into, it comes with a special booklet right here, guys. Awesome. I love this. They did the same thing with the American Werewolf set, with the Waterworld set, just these awesome additions. I'm not sure if I'll ever go through and read this, but it is just a really cool addition to have in this set right here, guys. So yeah, nice images from the film in this booklet as well. Nice artwork right there. You have the original on the back, and then you have the new Arrow artwork right there on the front. And right here, guys, we've got a poster. Let's go ahead and undo this. Actually, we've got two posters. So this one right here is just the sign for the town that has the population and the elevation. So this is actually really awesome. I didn't even know this was included until I just saw it. Flip it on the back, you have this nice little diagram of the actual biological makeup of the Tremor, which is really freaking cool. It looks like something right out of a biology book from school. So that's actually super awesome. Yeah, I didn't see this in there until I pulled all this stuff out. So this is the actual poster right here, guys, that comes with the set. So, and just like the American Werewolf one, I think, and the Waterworld, you've got two sides, the two-sided poster. I'm going to try to get this into frame as good as I can, but this is the regular artwork for the Arrow, and then this is the original artwork right there for the original poster. So definitely some cool additions right there, guys. And then inside the case itself, you got this card for Walter Chain's Market. So that's really cool addition right there. I'll zoom in on what it says. So yeah, this is just loaded with awesome stuff, guys. And right here, you've got some cool little cards that come with it. So with images from the film, you got one from Kevin Bacon. Actually, they all say Kevin Bacon on them. So yeah, I think they all have the same pull quote on them too. So yeah, just a bunch of different images from the film. So yeah, I'll kind of zoom in on these, let you guys check them out. And yeah, this is freaking awesome. Just Arrow outdid themselves with this set, in my opinion. It's just freaking spectacular. So with that, guys, we are done with the unboxing of the actual packaging for this Tremors Arrow release. I got to give this the highest marks. This is a 5 out of 5 for the packaging. So let's go ahead and get back into the audio-visual quality and the special features portion of this video. All right, guys, now that we're done with the unboxing and showing off the packaging, let's get into the visual quality of this, because this is the thing I probably want to talk about the most, because more so than any 4K release that I've seen over the past year, like this one just really stood out to me. And I don't know if it was because they did leave a little bit of that film grain in there. They didn't take all of it out and make it look like super clean and polished like a lot of the 4K releases that you see nowadays. So it maintained that old school classic kind of vintage old school film feel. But it also just looked so freaking crystal clear and good as well. Some of these shots, and I'll show them off. I took some shots of my screen of Kevin Bacon and Fred Willard just standing out in that desert, and just the close-ups on their face. It's just so crystal clear, and you can just see every single detail on their face. And one thing that I just was completely blown away by, and it's just something that really stood out to me, is when they kill that first graboid. And it's falling, and you see it falling to the ground, and you see the rock coming closer, and it hits, and it blows up, and the orange goo flies everywhere. It looked so incredible in that moment, just so incredibly vivid and detailed, just with that orange just kind of flying at the screen. And yeah, to me, for my money, this is the best 4K release I've seen in the past year. I would put this above Tenet. I would put this above all kinds of 4K releases that came out in 2020. I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but just visually, guys, the HDR, just the colors. Actually, that is super impressive, to be honest with you, because a lot of the ones that really stand out are the ones with like more darks and more blacks. And this really doesn't have that, because it's pretty much a movie that's all in the daylight. So for it to really stand out, being a movie that's all in the daylight, is just super impressive. So yeah, to me, the visuals in this gets a 5 out of a 5. I think that they're amazing. This is one of the best releases I've seen, to be honest. So as for the audio, a 5 out of 5 for that as well. Audio super clean, crystal clear, no issues with that as well. The special features, guys, another thing. Let's get into these special features, because they're honestly amazing. Like I couldn't believe it when I was watching them. Like, you don't get this kind of stuff in all of these releases. And like, my biggest complaint with the Event Horizon that I talked about last week is, they didn't get Sam Neill, they didn't get Lawrence Fishburne back to do any of these features. You get Kevin Bacon here in a brand new documentary that was just filmed for Arrow, talking about Tremors and the legacy of Tremors. And again, I just want to talk about, like, Kevin Bacon is a superstar. He doesn't have to come back and do stuff like this for some like stupid monster movie he did in 1990. He doesn't have to do that, but he's here in this like 30-minute documentary. Like, he's not the only one in it. There's other people with the film. All the other actors in it as well. That Michael Gross is in it. The only one we didn't get was Fred Ward. There's Reba McEntire, but a lot of the cast is in this, and it's really cool to see him. But yeah, Kevin Bacon, he doesn't have to do this kind of stuff, and he came in here and did this documentary. I just think it's super cool. And yeah, beyond that, there's like at least 5 featurette interviews that are brand new to this Arrow set. So I just want to make sure I don't leave anything out here. But yeah, you have that. You have some short films in here as well from the director. Just all kinds of, you have an original documentary that came out in like an earlier physical media release, that I think possibly the Blu-ray or the DVD, but it's an older documentary that I think it was like in the earlier 2000s, where they talk about the legacy. So that's really cool to see. And yeah, this is just jam-packed with special features. I got to give it a 5 out of a 5. Like, Arrow just did such a great job with this release. I can't gush enough about this. And it's not just because I got this sent to me by Arrow Video. This is because this is legitimately one of the best releases of all of last year. I highly recommend this. And right now, Arrow's having that Easter sale, and I think it's marked down pretty significantly. So if you can get on there, on their site, and order this, that would probably be your best bet as far as getting this. But I absolutely recommend it, especially if you're a Tremors fan. And you're an Arrow fan. This is, get out there and support their 4K transfers and what they're doing, because I honestly think they're doing excellent work. Cinema Paradiso, which I reviewed a couple of months ago, was excellent. I haven't checked out Pitch Black or Flash Gordon yet, but I do want to check those out as well. So highly recommend this, guys. As for on the whole, like, I know I gave the movie a 4 out of a 5. But taking all of this into consideration, I'm giving this entire release, just on the whole, a 5 out of a 5. Like, to me, this is just a perfect release. It is an absolutely perfect, flawless release that Arrow Video did, that I just highly recommend that you check out. So with that, guys, I appreciate everybody watching this review here today. If you like this movie, if you picked up this release, if you're going to pick up this release based on my recommendation, please leave all of that in the comment section below. Let's have a talk about one of the greatest creature features from the 90s in the comment section below. Also, be sure to like this video, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like I said, I'm going to be leaving the link for purchase down here in the bio for both Amazon and that Arrow sale as well. So definitely check it out. And yeah, guys, turn on those bell notifications for future videos, and we'll see you next time.